big part of that challenge is that there's not a real history or context to like contemporary performance here, and so we're really having to build a history and build a culture and context around it. There's not a lot of reference points for this. At the same time, I do feel like there's a lot of people here that are really up for it and adventurous, like more so than a lot of cities. I think people are game for some out there stuff. Yeah. I think there's a lot of ingredients that are in place that make Austin very ripe for this sort of thing, but at the same time it's a blank canvas, and so you do have to do a lot of contextualizing, and it's something that we need to do a better job of. I think providing a little bit more of a framework and history and help with like how you can sort of approach different artists. I don't like explaining work, but I do think you can help people sort of think about ways of looking at a performance that are like sort of expanding or fun. You know, it's absolutely not about having a PhD in art history or performance studies. That you know, if you don't have that, you're not going to get this. It's absolutely about your own experience with these things. The thing that I talk about the most is that it's really, the festival is a platform for ideas and conversation. That this is a way for us to think about some new things, or maybe think about some old things, but in a new way. And these are artists that you're not going to get to see, for the most part, otherwise. Obviously, the local artists that we present, you can see. It's not about being weird for weird's sake, but it's about getting at something really relevant. It's about being alive today, and it's about new ideas and new thinking. We try and also program a pretty broad range of artists. So someone like Reggie, which I love, he's a bit more of a window or doorway artist, in that he has sort of this mass appeal, so you can sort of invite a lot of people to go see Reggie, and then he can be this sort of doorway artist into some other artists that are a bit more challenging, because some of the work is really challenging. That's this other piece that in some ways I think is the hardest to communicate. This idea of risk, like how do you champion risk, and like that's okay if something doesn't totally work, and actually that should be something that we embrace. Do you know? Yeah. Because I often feel like those are the pieces that I talk about more than something that's totally successful and wonderful and oh, that was great, but then you can go have a beer and talk about something else. But like the pieces that maybe don't quite work or are really hard to parse, those are the pieces I'm actually really grateful for. It's easy to go through one's daily life and not encounter the unknown. Sort of go through, things that friends that we feel very, simpatico with, that we agree with, and to experience something that we just really don't understand, I think is actually a wonderful thing. Yeah. But people really are resistant to it, and so I think we do need some help crafting some language around that, and like why we think this is great to encounter something that we don't fully understand, because I think that has a lot of ramifications outside of just seeing a show, but obviously a lot of implications to just encountering difference in the world, and other people and cultures, and that if you can sort of start to look at these things as a gift, or not sort of be hesitant, like I can't relate to this, so I'm gonna check out, but like, okay, try to stay with it and find some sort of, at least just questions, or stay with it, and wrestle with it, and try to understand pieces of it. I do think we need to find some language that really speaks to more people and reaches them, but I also do not want to dumb it down in a way, and I actually just think it takes really extra smart language that can still be really precise and clear and articulate what you want it to articulate, but that also is smart and not dumbing it down, and so that's what's really tricky.